Last night, I slept in the middle of my bed. I know you must be thinking, what's the big deal, Tasleem? Well, it's a very big deal. I have not slept in the middle of my bed, like taken over my bed from the center in years. I'm talking like at least 10 years at least. Did I just say at least? Anyway, you know what I mean. That's how big of a deal it is. I have to repeat it. I usually sleep. So how do I normally sleep? I usually sleep on one side of the bed. And I don't have a particular side. Like, it's not like I have to sleep on the left side or the right side. But depending on the configuration of the bed and the walls, I tend to sleep on the side that's away from the wall if there is a wall on one side of my mattress, or and I sleep on the side that is close to a nightstand so I can put my glasses or a book or whatever there and just get out easier. But throughout the middle of the night, I stay in that half of my side of the bed. It's like maybe I turn a little, like maybe I go from this lying on my side to my back sometimes and back to my side, but I never cross that middle line. And in fact, I am sure that in a queen size bed, I probably take over like a quarter of the bed, or yeah, not half, more like a third. Anyway, I'm thinking about my math here. Yeah, 1/3, not even a half. So what's the big deal? Why did I notice this? Well, I did it intentionally. I did it because I am a true believer in like using what you have and making the most of what you have and appreciating the things that you have. Sometimes we have nice things and we leave them and we say, oh, we're going to use them on that really nice occasion or that really special occasion. And I've tried to promise myself that I won't do that. Like the special occasion is that I'm here right now and I have it and I want to treat myself well. So I want to practice using what I already have. And I'm like, I have this queen size bed, this whole other half of my bed, and I am not, or 2/3 maybe of my bed, and it's not going to any use. Like nobody's there. And then it hit me. Was I doing this? Maybe I was doing it because subconsciously there hasn't been, I mean, not subconsciously, really, there hasn't been someone on the other side of that bed for a regular amount of time for a long time. So was I subconsciously sleeping on one side of the bed so that my other half, even though I don't like that idea of two people completing each other, but the other person would take over the other half and it would never feel weird for me. It was like I was saving that half for that person. And then I felt sad, like, oh, is me finally using the whole bed or being in the center of the bed, succumbing to this idea that I'm not going to find my person? Is it just me saying, I give up? I'm just going to take over the whole bed because that person obviously has not shown up for a long time. And don't get me wrong, I've had shorter relationships over the years, over these 10 years, that last maybe a few months or whatever, but it's not like me being in that person's space or bed or sleeping space for days and days and days, like for all those days, or them being in my bed for all those days. Like it's not a case of me having gotten used to having someone next to me in my bed when I've been in those smaller relationships. And so I was like, damn, is this me just saying, screw it, I'm taking over the bed because nobody else is. But funny enough, when I tried it, it felt really good. It felt good to take up that space. It felt good to try it. It felt good to experience it and to see what it was like. And I liked the feeling of having the bed to myself and just, taking over the space and sprawling out and having my hands and legs out. Like, I'm a small person. I'm 5'2", and honestly, I think I'm shrinking, but I'm pretty slim. So it's not like even me sprawling out takes over a lot of the bed. And it felt good. Like, I was like, oh, I'm using the pillows that are on the other side of the bed. Like, I'm using the, maybe evening out the mattress finally by doing this, even though I'm in a new apartment. But in my old apartment, it was only like one side of my bed that was being used. And I thought, oh, I like this. Like, I can do this. And funny enough, when I woke up, I was back to my side of the bed. It's like I don't know if I've gotten so used to being on a side that it just naturally happens. And plus, if I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom or do something, I'm wanting to get off of the bed easier. Yeah, or I don't know if I got used to it or if I was like, my body was like, I don't actually really like being in the center. I'm not really sure. I liked it when I tried it, and I'm planning to try it a few times again and just know that it's an option. But it made me think, like, is this a reflection of where I'm at in terms of my thinking about relationships and partnerships and what my life is going to be like going forward? Because in my mind, I'm always telling people that, oh no, I'm going to find my person and I'm not going to just choose someone to settle on because, like, I'm not going to settle for someone that is less than what I really want just to have someone there. But I also believe that that person is out there. It's funny how the internet works, right? It's like it can read your mind with what your searches have been and all of that. And I've been getting these interesting videos that are said to be attested to Goddard and existentialists and Carl Jung and that kind of thinking, like that kind of philosophy. And these videos have kind of scared me in the best way because they talk about one in particular talks about why the awakened, people that are awoke and really into like mind-body connection and spirituality and forward thinking and that kind of thing, why the awakened do not choose love or are not going to fall in love, something along those lines. And the caption, that title, like, is kind of scary because it makes it sound like, I consider myself woke in some ways. Like, I definitely am forward thinking and a visionary, and I've never really, even though maybe I've tried to fit myself into mainstream type things, I've never fit into that. And it's made me realize, like, that's just not who I am. And I actually don't want to do what the crowd is doing and what everyone's doing. And usually what I'm doing is very different from the crowd. And I've come to appreciate that and love that about myself. So, but it made it sound like people like me or in my situation cannot find love and they don't fall in love. And sometimes that's their choice or that's their destiny. And I was like, oh, that's sad. This takes me back to the bed situation. Like, am I sleeping in the middle of the bed because subconsciously I know this, that I'm not going to find my person? Like, have I been just tricking myself? But the interesting thing about these videos is that it makes it sound very appealing that awakened people don't fall in love. If they do anything in love, they say they rise in love. So awakened people are not, just doing what other people want them to do. They are actually thinking about what are their goals for their personal self. How do they want to like arrive in this life? What are they trying to achieve in this life? And how often partnership can make you compromise those beliefs and standards of what you want to achieve. And that a lot of times we're taught, like, I definitely feel selfish if I think, oh, I won't, like, it's not just sad for me that, oh, I might not find my partner. I also think it might be selfish if I chose not to have a partner, because a lot of people have stresses in their lives or responsibilities and show compassion and caring by having someone in their life that they can take care of and consider their feelings and consider their schedules and, kind of coordinate schedules and what you like and what I like and how that might be different, but how can we still spend time together and still appreciate each other's likes and hobbies and make a life together. And it's like there's a art to it. Like, it's not always easy. And so I think there's a part of me that thinks that if I choose not to be partnered, that I'm trying to make my life easier than other people. And I'm saying I don't care about other people and that I prefer my own company and I don't have the compassion to actually accommodate someone else's needs or whatever. And that feels really bad because I think of myself as a compassionate and caring person and an empathetic person. But I do realize that my life has, in some ways, been easier on me not having to think about a bunch of people's needs and schedules, and I get stressed out when I have that. Even if I travel, like, I've traveled a lot by myself in the past, and I love traveling by myself because I can decide where I want to go and what I want to see and whether I want to stick to the original schedule or not, and whether I even want to have a schedule. Like, maybe I just go and see what happens and I meet people. The irony is that I meet more people when I travel by myself, but that means that I like being around people. It doesn't mean that I want to be alone. But I think this is like a little sample of, like, a model of how I am, like, my travels and how I like to experience traveling is kind of sets the stage for how I also have realized what makes my nervous system calm down more is just thinking about me and maybe another person. Like, I don't know how to handle lots of schedules, which is weird because I was teaching, but I think my students were a little bit more on my schedule than I had to be on theirs. But yeah, so these videos talk about how actually it's not selfish and it's not actually easier to not be partnered, because sometimes people who are partnered have certain dreams and goals and expectations for themselves. And when they don't achieve those things, they can often say, well, I didn't do that thing because I had kids. And it's not that they regret having kids, but they're saying, like, this is the reason I didn't do this thing, but they're not regretful of it. Or I decided not to take that class or whatever because it conflicts with my husband's schedule for what we want to do together, so I didn't do that. Or a lot of times, even not even with romantic partners, but like taking care of parents, like I have lots of regrets of not taking care of my mom more and putting more time into that, and I wish I could go back and do that better and more. But I think some people are in situations where they do have those responsibilities and stuff. And so like going to the gym or eating a certain type of meal, like sometimes it's harder because you're taking care of someone else. So you have that excuse, which is a very valid excuse, to say, I could not do that, or I could not maintain that diet, or I could not maintain my workouts because I have these other responsibilities. And I used to think that if you are not partnered, or if you don't have your own family or your own kids, that it's kind of selfish, because you can say, like, you can be like, hey, I'm going to go off and do this and do that, and I don't care about you. But actually, these videos are saying that the fact that you don't have that excuse to say, I didn't achieve this dream of mine, or I didn't do my workouts, or I didn't go work in that country that I wanted to be in. The fact that you don't have the excuse that you didn't do those things because you have a family or a loved one or people to take care of or children or whatever it is, that actually makes it so that you, as a person that can achieve those things, like, you don't have any excuse. It's like you either do it, or what's your excuse? You don't have an excuse. So it pushes you to become that person that you are dreaming of. Like, it pushes you, and you don't have something to fall back on to say, well, I'm not doing that because of this and these people and my other responsibilities. No, your only responsibility is yourself. And that might sound selfish at first, but actually it's actually really scary, and it's really brave. And it made me realize that when I listen to these videos, I resonate with them so much. I'm like wanting to high five the people that are like this, that know this. The people who created the videos obviously are aware of this, because it's like they're speaking my language. They're speaking what I didn't even know I actually really connect with. So the reason I started this out with me sleeping in the middle of my bed and being scared that I was letting go of this idea that I would meet my future partner soon and be able to find him, is because it's possible that I am not meant to be partnered in this lifetime or in this time. or in all these years that I have not had a steady partner, not because something was happening against me, not because my world is sad, but because I was meant to do the things that I really dream to do without the excuse of saying, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore, or I can't do that because I have this obligation and this partnership. And it's like life is working for me, not against me. It's working for me that I wasn't partnered during this time. And it's not something sad. It's something that I should be celebrating and grateful for. It doesn't mean that I have to think that in my future that I won't have a partner. Who knows? I may or may not, but I love the feeling. I love the realization that either choice is not a downfall. Either choice is not settling. Well, if I'm partnered and find that great partner, yay. And I will make sure that I find someone that lifts up my dreams and my aspirations, not makes me feel like I'm settling for less in order to be partnered. And if I don't find that partner, I even feel like the excitement still, like I don't remember feeling excitement when I've said, and if I don't find that partner, but I genuinely feel this excitement that maybe the awakened part of me is being given a chance to actually make those dreams and aspirations that I've had that I might not even know are brewing inside me come true. And it would not work if I was partnered. They would not happen if I was partnered. I don't know. If any of you guys can relate to this, let me know. I would love to hear from you guys that are partnered, that are happily partnered, and you know, give us, I know that there's a million trillion things that are positive about being partnered. I would love to be reminded about them. And, you know, maybe you have some things that to share that I don't even know about myself. And those of you who aren't partnered, like maybe you have stories to share about how that's been great for you. Or maybe you've been both. You have been partnered and then you haven't been. And I'd love to hear the comparison between the two. But yeah, we'll see. I may or may not sleep in the middle of my bed tonight. I will let you know soon.